There's a good video about BreadTube. I think you should check it out later. It does criticize you near the end a bunch, so keep that in mind. It's a 1 hour and 40-minute video. The only part of this that I will look at is like most likely just the parts where it's like talking about me, because I do not give a f about the untold history of BreadTube. I would watch a load more MasterChef episodes, because a 1 hour and 40-minute video of BreadTube is going to be a 7-hour broadcast special. It's going to be 7 hours. Also, like, leftist criticism of the left is straight up the most annoying and the most inconsequential, insignificant bullshit out there. Basically about how white BreadTube is and how little recognition black creators get in leftist channels. That is 100% true. If that is his entire argument, then he's 1000% true. There is very little recognition of black content creators in most spaces, but especially even in the leftist YouTube space. Saying BreadTube is fucking cringe. You shouldn't even use that term. You shouldn't even fucking want to be a part of that group, regardless. And that's pretty much it, actually. It's like, I've seen a lot of his vids. You would likely agree with him. I do agree with him if that's his argument. If his argument is that, like, you know, the YouTube essayist space that is like openly leftist is very white, then he's completely fucking correct on that. It's straight up correct. He knows nothing about you. His takes that are all white leftists are not really left is so dumb. Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to find other white leftists that are as openly defensive as like of nationalist movements or like Pan-African nationalist movements as myself. So I don't know. There's like 3 leftists out there that are white that are defensive of that sort of thing. And it's like me, Felix Biederman, and maybe like a couple other white leftists. So I don't know what he's talking about with respect to that. So, but it's fine. I mean, he's correct though. He is correct that unfortunately, you know, in this space, the space is very, very, very white.
Video, except instead of long form content that's mostly them ranting, they are still ranting, but usually in response to somebody else.
My ex called you a reactionary person. I didn't really understand, but I think your beliefs align with mine, which is why I watch you genuinely. I'll call stuff out when you say I don't like it. I've never seen you, but little knowledge I've seen thus far. The people who seemingly attack you tend to feel off drama instead of looking at it like ideas y'all share. Dude, anyone that calls me a fucking reactionary is literally delusional, okay? They're just like, unless they don't know what a fucking reactionary is and think that like that means reacting to YouTube content.
Else's content or on a particular topic. So no, I guess it's exactly the same in a lot of ways. The biggest difference is the usage of the live stream chat format, which allows them to have immediate feedback on what they're saying and immediate reinforcement that what they're doing is, if not right, then at least effective for their intended goal, which is to promote leftism.
I think like one of the biggest galvanizing or fracturing aspects is the debate bro stuff. The discourse has shifted from BreadTube is a thing, it's the video essayists, they're growing, to creators talking about BreadTube as, well, now the debate streamers, because they are leftists, are included in BreadTube. No, because they are prominent and have large audiences.
Holy shit, you look weirder when you're younger. That's not me, homie. This is not me. This is Noah. We watched a video of his last night. One of Noel's editors and also a YouTuber himself.
Not only aren't as salient or they don't go as well, there's quite a lot of conflict because they're already big. They kind of have this confidence aspect and this a little bit of demagoguery and a little bit of affirmation from streaming all day and talking about stuff. And it's not that they're not talking about issues, it's that there are blind spots.
This is way too close to my face. That's better. This formula for content is enjoyed by creators of various political ideologies in these stream spaces, mainly because it probably lends itself more to parasocial relationships than other forms of this type of media. But debate bros, as we call them, are unique in that they are A, left-leaning, at least ostensibly, and B...
Okay, I already like this guy. His Twitter is Black Uncle Iro. That's automatically, that's dope, okay? I don't know what the fuck he's about, but he named himself Black Uncle Iro. Respect.
their name because they do debates on their platform. And I put debates in quotes here because these aren't actual debates. They don't usually have moderators. It's mostly them arguing against another person. It's a argument. They're argument bros.
Hold on. This is my favorite. Hold on. Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess.
These debates are often against people with significantly opposing viewpoints. And I'm just going to keep it real. If you haven't already figured out,
let me be clear on the record. I might be a fan of debate bros, but this sounds like some bullshit from Twitch. I'm told is habitually on some shit. I don't think Hasan would like being associated as a debate bro. He absolutely hates them and debates as a whole, and hasn't done it seriously in almost 2 years. Plus, the reason he got banned was because probably another debate bros community boosted it. Yeah, I don't know why I'm like considered a fucking debate bro. I don't know why he thinks I'm a debate bro. Basically, he was saying that the YouTube algorithm pushes black viewers of leftist content into white BreadTube or black SigmaTube grifters. What the fuck is SigmaTube? He's also sus of your community and other debate bros because you de-radicalize people who are on the alt-right pipeline. He sus of communities built of almost former Nazis. First of all, one, understandable take, obviously. Two, my community is not exclusively comprised of people who were like ex-white nationalists. There are certainly people who were, though, in this community. But there's a difference between people who are in this community who used to be like ex on fucking 4chan or ex alt-right or whatever the fuck, and other communities. And that's because my main goal isn't to fucking thrive on being the big-brained intellectual titan, the intellectual giant, because when you do that, that just means they are still responding simply to power. You're not actually creating or crafting an argument or showing people a different worldview and constantly explaining that that is like the proper and appropriate way to live. You're just simply, you know, you're just simply the big bad gladiator, the intellectual gladiator. And as long as you continue being that guy, they will fucking give you money and give you praise because they think you're the smartest guy in the room, because that's the only way that they can manage. That's the only way they can understand who is smart or not. He also talks about how when people read theory, they don't read from black authors, which is understandable. Yes, I mean, every matter of even liberal spaces, every matter of intellectual thought crafted within the Western liberal college campuses absolutely are crafted in a very white ethnocentric perspective. So that is true. I think you get pigeonholed as a debater because you give people succinct talking points to take elsewhere to debate others. I mean, sure. I'm the definition of a hate watcher. You literally manipulate any instance into an example of your agenda being most your money in your pocket as possible by catering to the most popular party. It's pathetic. That's awesome. I love that. You want to know why I love that? Well, one, thank you for your honesty. But two, I love that you said that leftism is popular. Like, it's like an actual popular thing. That's great. Thank you. It's awesome that like socialism is the most popular concept. That's great. That's why I always say, I agree, but I also see the downside of never having your viewpoints challenged with opposing views. Yawn. Okay, here's the thing. This notion that you are having your opinions challenged in the marketplace of ideas is a silly one, okay? That would make Ben Shapiro the most intelligent person on the internet. This is why I absolutely fucking despise debate bros, because you don't care about the actual morality behind the ideology that you supposedly believe in. You don't care about the outcomes. You do not have like a well-grounded materialist perspective on issues. You are simply going towards who is the most powerful intellectual gladiator. Okay? Debates, and I haven't had this conversation in a long time. So it's actually, if Hasan did debates, no one would watch. First of all, that's not true. That my debates have been incredibly well watched. What the fuck are you talking about? The reason why I don't do that is because the reason why I don't do that is not because like, and a lot of debate bros think like I'm running away from arguments, but the reason why I don't do that is not because I'm like afraid of arguments or the opposing side or anything like that. The reason why I don't do that is because I find it to be unproductive. I find the kind of audience that it starts fostering is incredibly toxic and not good for both growth as a stream, but certainly growth as an individual, because it becomes an instance where people are exclusively looking for the next debate, looking for new targets to belittle, to berate. And because I don't personally believe that debates are for anything but, you know, intellectual, pseudo-intellectual WWE, just mostly focused on the theatrics of it all. I don't think that that's a productive way of changing people's minds while also simultaneously growing your community. You're only looking for most of the debates that you watch on the internet revolve around, one, perfectly crafting your talking points, knowing what your opposing side's talking points are, and perfectly crafting retorts to those talking points. And that can absolutely be relatively educational. You get a better understanding of what your talking points look like and how it matches up against other people's talking points, right? So that's a good thing. Makes you feel good, makes your side feel good. If you have like a powerful debate lord fighting on your behalf, totally get that, right? But ultimately, it's not like you're actually diving a little bit deeper into why you believe the things that you believe. You know what I mean? You're not doing that. You're not actually learning as to why you should feel a certain way about certain issues. You're simply just repeating talking points on your team's side, okay? And trying to rationalize the most illogical, logical fallacies you can as quickly as you possibly can. That's it. You are right, but I still think it has some value. Maybe it has more value outside of the streaming aspect and more value in a personal aspect, maybe. I am not of the mindset that debates are a successful way of matching up ideas. I've said this a million times over, but it bears repeating. I personally think that if that was the case, then Ben Shapiro would never be able to own, for example, a scientist on the issue of climate change. But because debates value rhetoric over actual substance, Ben Shapiro could absolutely, quote unquote, destroy a nerdy scientist who is well versed in the subject matter that he's discussing and make it seem as though he actually destroyed a fucking real, credible individual that knows a lot more. It's not about who's right. It's about who appears to be more powerful. That's why a lot of debate lords who do not have any emotional investment, that's why many debate lords who do not have a single ounce of emotional investment in the arguments that he's talking about will appear to win. That's why a lot of debate lords do not really care about the substance or care about the things that they're talking about and will say ridiculous shit in an effort to, you know, try to reach out to the different recipes, the boundaries of your moral system that you've crafted. And it's not something that you would normally do. On top of that, debates don't actually change people's minds. They have a capacity to be able to change people's minds, certainly. There is the classic 40-40-20 principle. 40% of the watchers are going to stay on one side, their own side. They're already well-versed. Got COVID myself. And they're watching to learn the talking points. The other 40%, same thing. And then there is the 20% in the middle that are in the margins that could go either way, that could actually have their minds changed, but it's still not good enough. If you don't steer those people towards a direction and you simply steer them towards the direction of being a fan of yours and advocating for whatever the fuck kind of seasoning you have decided to put on top of your neoliberalist values, your neoliberal values, then they've just become the exact same person that they used to be, but instead of doing it for Nazi shit, they're doing it for you and whoever the fuck you have decided is your enemy or whatever ideology you have decided to, value for the sake of the argument. Debates have definitely de-radicalized a lot of STEM lord types, just like shows like yours and Chapo that reject civility, politics, and political correctness pull a lot of edgelords over. I mean, sure. Oh, dude, look. He's right. Last night he tried debating that he wasn't a weeb and nobody changed their mind. Okay, dude. Why you got to do this to me right now? So, ultimately, as I was stating, if you enjoy debates, that's fine. I watch debates from time to time as well. But if you think that, like, that is the end-all, be-all of, like, stimulating intellectual conversation, you're wrong. If anything, the research proportion of finding the appropriate talking points to counter people's arguments with is probably the more productive side of the debate if you're, actually streaming that part.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Here, let's
I don't
keep
really
going.
fuck with debate bros. I'm going to resist being extra uncharitable and doing a montage of all these snippets and bad takes that I could find, because I don't want to poison the well too much here. And I don't want to reduce them to their worst moments, because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. And furthermore, to be charitable, I don't individually think that these are bad people or even that they need to be ousted from the left. I think that that very concept of ousting people is part of the problem, really. And who am I to do that in the first place? I'm a nearly 40-year-old boomer. And to be fair, I think some of the issues with debate bros are
We're gonna watch TikTok in a second.
the problems of online left and LeftTube as a whole. See, if the origins of BreadTube or LeftTube were greatly to offer counter arguments to racists and fascists and to be venues for de-radicalization for mostly young straight white men.
Speaking of boomers, let's go. Boomer solidarity, brother. That's right. I got my white monster out. Sipping on that. Is Leftovers returning? Yes, of course. Sipping on that boomer juice. Yay, yay. Love me that. You know, they feed us poison, and then they take away our cures, brother. Fucked up. Yup. Cracked and open. You got to buy them at the gas station. Makes it better. You know what I'm saying? Don't appropriate trans culture with that white monster. Wait, white monsters is trans culture now? I thought it was like gas station white boomer culture.
Like, if this was a war of sorts, then the debate bros were the frontline fighters in those battles. While Philosophy Tube and H-Bomber Guy were the generals providing high-level and in-depth arguments against these fascist ideologies, the debate bros were the skirmishers and the foot soldiers. It was Destiny and Hasan
this
and
is so
Vosh and Xander Hall and probably some others that I don't know about who thrashed at the forefront.
Oh my God, he put me with those guys? What the fuck? Okay, now I am taking offense. Are you joking, dude? What the fuck? I just straight up caught a stray for no reason, dude.
Regularly debating with professed white supremacists and other deplorables, battling for the souls of their fellow edgelords. And all snark aside, I'm not gonna poo-poo the role that plays in leftist discourse. I do think you need people with lived experience on the forefront of such a movement, engaging with their peers in a way that people outside of that group can't do. You need that to support the growth out of harmful and destructive ideologies. That's partially the basis for this channel. I was not always a progressive and forward-thinking intersectional scholar about gender and masculinity and feminism and whatever else. It took me to spend time dismantling toxic masculinity and patriarchy within myself to get to this point. And I think as a man with lived experience who understands the nature of black masculinity, I am better equipped than my black female contemporaries for engaging with this group. But there should be some parameters. See, debate bros, much like the warrior classes that they play in their RPG games, don't know how to do much else but fight. And their viewers tune in not to really learn anything.
Wait, we literally agree 100%, except for the fact that he thinks I'm a debate bro. I just explained that, like, it creates an unnecessarily toxic space that's not good for education and learning. One of the moments that I realized, like, the blood sports only attitude was really impacting me and my community in the direction that I wanted the community to head towards was when I had Ryan Grimm on the broadcast. Ryan Grimm, for those of you who don't know, is the Washington, D.C. bureau chief for The Intercept. He has done tremendous amounts of work intercepting documents and covering the news. Sometimes, like, covering the news in a way that is incredibly productive and literally changes the course of politics, right? And when I had him on the first time, I had homies in the chat being like, debate him on this, debate him on that. And I was like, motherfucker, we're not here to, this isn't like a debate time. Okay. This is learning time. Like, sit the fuck down. That was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back, where I was just like, it's over. From this point on, I'm not interested in this kind of fucking toxicity at all. And for the record, of course, that doesn't mean that, like, I don't debate. Obviously, I or don't offer talking points? Of course I do. I do. I look at talking points in the chat and respond to them. I look at talking points in videos and respond to them. I give you talking points as well. Certainly. Okay. But that is not the end all be all of my content or my commentary. And I find it more productive to just like, you know, have fun and throw a little bit of educational content in the middle there. Didn't you purge the community at like 5K concurrent viewers and then at like 10K, like in the end of 2019? Yeah, I've done a couple purges. The method you use is more realistic and applicable to real life. The takes you respond to are ones that we come across IRL. Yeah, I'm not saying that like there is no value to responding or learning and recognizing the talking points that right-wingers engage in. Of course there is. People, especially right-wingers in general, love to arm themselves with the same talking points that they're disseminating out of think tanks. They're very well organized. That's why when you talk to like, unless you're talking to like a total dumbass right-winger, you're going to hear some fucking takes that you will hear from Ben Shapiro verbatim. So there is value to learning what those talking points are and understanding why they're fucking stupid. You kind of get forced into being a debate, bro. If you're on Twitch, 30,000 people versus one can never be a full discussion. It always turns into a short get own answer. Yeah. But I do think that no matter where you go, if you value the blood sport and you think that like debates are peak intellectual content, then you're always going to arrive at like debating fucking pedophilia and shit like that, you know, incest. Like that's the kind of unproductive weirdo shit that you engage in because you're running out of content. It's the only thing you fucking care about is debates. Then you're always going to literally end up debating that in the end because like there's nothing else to debate on. Okay? Or being able to say the N-word or the cracker saga, all this other shit. So to me, that's not interesting at all, number one. And also, it's certainly not productive. I would literally rather watch fucking MasterChef and, you know, have quick little quips here and there and offer a broad variety of content to different folks from all different kinds of backgrounds and perspectives than to fucking constantly and consistently pigeonhole myself to doing shit like that. Then why do we have presidential debates if it's not effective? Why the fuck do we do it? By the way, this is the reason why I respond to people in the chat regularly, because there are people that are coming in new. And this is the reason why I haven't talked about debating debate culture for a while, but it's good to like rehash what my principles and perspectives are in this. Because many people are not like you. They're not watching every fucking day. So it's important to like educate as many people as possible. The reason why we have presidential debates is because money, okay? It makes money. That's it. Viewers and money, sponsorships. That's it. That doesn't mean I don't do any debates at all, by the way. I mean, I'm still open to fucking debating people. It's just like on my terms, you know? I'm not going to go on the Tim Pool broadcast and fucking fly out across the country. Like, I'll do it via Zoom if Tim wants it. He DMs me all the fucking time, right? I'm not going to do that. Like, again, same with Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro. I guess I can make exceptions for Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro, but even then, here's the other thing. Even if you end up losing the rhetorical side of a debate, you can still functionally make it seem as though you won by having a very active community of shitters who literally clip out like a more sensationalist moment from that conversation where you tried to get someone to agree to something that maybe they don't even believe personally, and then fucking consistently spam that shit everywhere. And the side that does that more effectively, and this is like straight up alt-right blood sport era politics. This is what people used to do all the time. Whoever fucking clips and ships harder is actually fundamentally the winner of that debate. It's just so dumb in the end. It's so stupid ultimately. You realize your beliefs are most likely wrong? Wait, whose? I've actually never had a fucking debate where I've been like, wow, my fundamental core principles are wrong. Wow, I did one debate and now I think like black people deserve less. Like that's never happened. You know what I mean? That's an insane fucking take, you know? Yeah, I did one debate and now I think, you know, working class doesn't need any fucking help. Or, oh, wow, I did a debate and now I think Medicare for all is actually bad. Like, it's insane. The only people that do engage in that sort of stuff, more often than not, are people who can be very easily convinced. Liberals think everyone lacks their material grounding for their worldview. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, debates are good for reactionaries because they can reinforce a white supremacist attitude, for example. Debates are really good for liberals as well, who care more about the status quo and civility than the actual morality of certain, certain policy outcomes, right? And if you're of that mindset, then yeah, you probably love debates. It's a wonderful fucking thing to appreciate because you have a steady stream of people who are constantly telling you that you're right, and also that you are actually smart, and people simply don't understand how smart you are. That's the other thing. Like, it's fun and cool to think you're like actually intelligent because, man, I watched a fucking debate and the guy that's like very clearly and cohesively explaining my worldview in a better way than I could have, especially even in an under pressure situation, he agrees with me, so I must be smart. Meanwhile, the motherfucker that's doing that is more often than not even smart. Okay, they just appear to be. And this is me as well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, certainly. Based on what you said, you used to be a debater, but not anymore. No, I have seen debates as a productive thing, certainly, and I still do believe that there is a productivity that you can get out of a debate. But other than fucking clout, there's really not much from a content creator's point of view to engaging in debates regularly. Straight up. Watching Michael Burke's debates were always entertaining. Yeah. Dude, seeing you make a good point and call you a debate lord. Look, here's the thing. I stand for something, and I am a very passionate person. So my impassioned way of communicating my ideas doesn't necessarily make it conducive to like functionally win debates. You know what I mean? Because whichever side seems to be more hysterical is automatically losing in every debate. So the side that doesn't have any true values or anything like that doesn't give a shit about, has a gigantic advantage. That's just the point. Like, if you have no fucking values, if you don't give a shit about the things that you're talking about, and you're just doing it simply for the sake of like winning an argument, then you're gonna fucking kill it. And a lot of these debate lords are like that. Or people that can control emotions. Yeah, totally. So many people. Yeah. Like, what you are saying is you should be able to control your emotions against people who devalue you as a human being. Like, or your friends. Like, me being white actually gives me a lot of privilege and helps me communicate some of these ideas to people who would otherwise never listen to non-white people who are engaging with them, non-cis people who are engaging with them, right? But even then, I still get fucking passionate, and I can't hold it in when someone is like straight up advocating for, I don't know, things that come from the underlying premise that they believe black people are inferior, for example. Like, how the fuck am I gonna hold my shit in a situation like that? You know, look, I don't agree. You must be white. I am white. Leftists are fucking trash. Cry equals win. Kiss equals win. Vegans are cancer. This is the intellectual giant here. Like, and the funniest part about this is that I used to pull people like this from the chat and fucking dismantle them and thoroughly embarrass them. And it made me feel really good. And the thing that they would always used to do is like, well, that guy was a dumbass. Bring in a smarter person, me. And then I would bring the smarter person, and then he would look like a dumbass. Okay? And then another person would say, hey, bring this person in. That guy is a fucking idiot. He's not a good representative of conservative ideas. Bring me in. And then I would bring that person. And then that person would look like a fucking idiot too. And never did they ever recognize that, like, maybe they were all dumb. Especially because I'm a dumbass. But at least I'm a dumbass who recognizes that they are a dumbass. some of you dumbasses don't recognize that either, which ultimately makes you dumber than me. So it just got to a point where it was really fucking boring.